For the last 4 weeks, it's been anything but business as usual on Wall Street.
Wall Street, all day, all week. Occupy Wall Street, all day, all week. Occupy all week. Occupy Wall Street, all day, all week.
To protest the influence of big money in American politics, a group of young people came to camp out in a park in Lower Manhattan and refused to leave. That act of defiance sparked a movement.
I think we've got like more than 4,000 people here right now. This is an Occupy Wall Street protest. Everyone's got their own reasons for wanting to march, but me personally, I'm here to march for corporate accountability and pretty much more awareness.
I'm 61 years old. I've lived through a lot of changes in this country, and I remember when this was a country of opportunity. It's clearly not that anymore.
The Occupy Wall Street protest defies definition. There's no one policy change or one social problem that's being attacked, and there are as yet no leaders. Instead, it's a single statistic that unites the crowd. In America today, 1% of the population controls more than 50% of the nation's wealth and the overwhelming share of political power. The Occupy Wall Street crowd have come together around the slogan, "We are the 99%.
Those in the top 1% are basically making it impossible for the rest of us to actually live, decent, dignified lives. And so, yeah, I mean, collective action is really the only thing that's going to change that.
Cal Christopher has been protesting since the beginning. His amateur photographs and video of these early days have been shown all over the world.
I think that what we're doing here is we're giving a voice to people that are generally voiceless. I think that the idea of having a large assembly of people that's down in a place where you can go to it, I mean, and we've been going for a long time, so I think now it's, I would say with some longevity, that you could go to this place and you could air concerns of yours about the things it is that are disappointing or are troublesome or confusing about life in America.
And the movement is attracting allies. Burt Neuborne is the constitutional lawyer who took on many of the most important cases of the civil rights era in New York. Where others see kids in a park, Neuborne sees something familiar.
I think most people who look at the demonstration think of it as almost an organic manifestation of a feeling that a lot of us have, and that's that the country has tilted so strongly toward corporate power and toward Wall Street, and that the ordinary political processes don't appear to be working, that money dominates so much of American democracy. So people, I think, are responding to that with almost a kind of desperation.
Each Occupy Wall Street march has grown in size, and while the marches have been overwhelmingly peaceful, there have still been 1,000 arrests in the last month. It's been almost 4 decades since anything like this happened in New York City.
This should come as no surprise when unemployment rates go through the roof, or stock markets, plunge in markets, or a mother of 3 children and can't finance her home anymore. You see all these things, and I would say that to those people, I would say that it doesn't come as a surprise that there's these protest groups that are opening up in different squares around the world or around the country for that matter. I would say that these people, for the most part, the people that are involved with it, feel like this has been past due.
This is a scream. When somebody screams because they're in pain, it doesn't tell you very much, and in fact, it makes people a little edgy. It's not fun to be near somebody in that situation, but the scream is authentic, and it reflects something deeper. And people will respond to that scream by trying to provide aid and by trying to actually fix it. I think this is a political movement that is at the screaming stage. It's at the emotional outpouring stage. And it hasn't matured to the point yet where it has the kind of formal political program and backing, but it will. It will.
2011 has been a year defined by global protest, and what's happening in America owes much of its spirit and strategy to the movements in Spain, Egypt, Greece, and elsewhere. The strategies are borrowed and then evolved. Social networking sites are used to organize, occupations are staged, and the global media are told where to stand.
This actually started basically in response to like Tahrir Square. It's taking a lot of pages out of their notebooks and trying to emulate that in a way. It's a hopeful attitude to see that if they can do it, maybe we can too.
When the group isn't marching, there's a joyful carnival atmosphere to Zagati Park, which the group has renamed Liberty Square.
Well, I'm the naked cowboy, keeping it real for you, swinging my butt in undies, singing the same damn tune, supporting the protest, naked cowboy supports the protest.
And a surprising amount of organization takes place every day and night. Sleeping bags and tarps have been donated for anyone who wants to camp out with the protesters. Volunteers clean up the trash. Others prepare donated food.
This is definitely a unique and awesome thing to see how well this has really been coming together.
Medics are on hand for minor health problems, and there's even a library of donated books.
You know that anybody who's here feels deeply that something needs to be done. And so you start on a level that you don't start on with your family or with your friends necessarily. It's commonality of we believe something needs to be done and we believe that we're going to do it.
I don't have all the answers, but I think we should have an open forum to discuss the changes that we want to see.
All day, people air their views, having the crowd echo their words so the listeners further back can hear, because they're not allowed a PA system in the park. Today, world-renowned economist Jeffrey Sachs is taking his turn to talk to the crowd. He's one of many notables who have come to visit.
They figured if they cut taxes for the rich, the rich would give them campaign contributions, and they could all live happily ever after. They could all live happily ever after. Not us. Not us. They are the 1%. They are the 1%. We're the 99%. We're the 99%. This isn't just a game. This is the future of this country. It's actually the future of the world. And if it's decided by the Koch brothers and by ExxonMobil and others, we're really in a hell of a lot of trouble.
Filmmaker Michael Moore was on hand, as was economics professor and author Moshe Adler.
We have to recognize all levels of government serve executives. I mean, that includes the legislator, which is Congress, that includes the president, and that includes the courts. So what do we mean by Occupy Wall Street? It is a cry for economic democracy, but it is not concrete enough yet.
Food for thought today is about Occupy Wall Street and the way that the message is being spread, and the discussion will be...
The movement is today being discussed in many corners, including Professor Adler's labor class at Empire State College. These men are all laborers on scholarship and have returned from visiting the protests.
Yeah, I've been unemployed for 2 years, but I don't really agree with a lot of the protests, and I feel like the middle class and everybody that's out there is really just hopping on a bandwagon. Yeah.
Every senator probably came from some line of family that was in some higher echelon of some form of education. They didn't come from, they didn't come from down there. The few that do make
Occupy Wall Street's biggest impact to date may have been in sparking debates like this one.
What programs are being cut all the time? All these social work programs and city workers that are extremely important for protecting or providing important services to our people. And the most important one is education.
All day, all week. Let me cross the street, please.
The constant criticism of the Occupy Wall Street movement is that they cannot or will not articulate exactly what changes they want to see.
The only thing is that this resistance has not had leadership, but it is providing a kernel around which a movement to call for change can coalesce.
Throughout history, the speech of the poor and the weak has been street speech, has been speech using their bodies as the mechanism for expressing their needs and concerns. And that's what we're seeing now.
Every day, new support seems to come their way. Now major unions, the American clergy, and even House Democrats have got behind these kids in the park. Patrick Bruner is one of those most responsible for the movement's media campaign. He's been here since the very beginning.
Everyone here is sick of the current economic and political climate. We're sick of people telling us that we're broke when we're the richest country that's ever existed. I mean, we know that people need to value the social contract that America was built upon. That's, you know, half the signs you'll see out here say "Save the American Dream," and that's what we're fighting for, the American dream.
The story of the 1960 and 1970 demonstrations is a happy story. Frustration followed by genuine political reform and genuine change in this society. I don't see necessarily the opening to a happy ending for these demonstrations. What I see is a collision with corporate power and the police that may not be as happy.
This young movement continues to gain momentum by the day, while at the same time it struggles to define itself. Meanwhile, the entire world is watching.